I ended up hearing a person speak. His name is Bill Cooper. And I don't know if you know him or not. He wrote a book
Yeah.
called Behold the Pale Horse.
Yes.
And we became good friends, and I did some security work for him, and I helped him do research on that book. If you look in the beginning, there's acknowledgments. My name's listed in there in the front of Behold the Pale Horse. So that's what sort of led me into ufology was Bill Cooper. So what happens is after we're dead, after we pass away, and our spirit form goes to the other side, the death state, and spends some time there before it incarnates again and has a new personality. Um, all of those thinking, all of that thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are stored in the storage banks, they come back as impulses to the new person. So after you've incarnated, you have a new personality, brand new. After you become conscious and old enough to think and talk and move and things like that, you will get impulses. You'll get things that people will interpret as an idea or an inspiration or some they're very subtle impulses that come in. These come from the these come from the storage banks from our past lives in order that we can continue that work. It's the sort of the chain that stays the same. It's the connection that we have to our past lives.
Yeah. I
But
remembered something.
let me
Yeah.
address this point. Let me address
Yeah.
this point because I think it's a really important one, and probably a lot of other people. The Pleiadians are like a doctor. They come to see what's happening on the Earth, and they write a prescription through Billy saying, "Okay, you shouldn't destroy your planet. You shouldn't destroy the ozone. Whatever it is, right? You
Yeah.
shouldn't." So they write the prescription, and they give it to us, and we're the patient, and we have to take the medicine.
Yeah.
That's that. There is no line, fine line,
But
thick
what is
line.
like their
Go ahead.
motivation? So there's like, so you said there's like basically like something like a collective profession, and they are like the doctors. So they are like so high evolved, they can do literally work and are not basically wasting their time with their own problems because they already solved a lot of them. And now they got time and energy to focus on. Hello,
Okay.
Mike. Greetings.
Hi there. How you doing, Felipe?
So, yeah, today we are here to have a little chat about ufology in general, life and death, and of course the Billy Meier case, a case you got a strong connection to, I would assume. And at this point, maybe you can give a quick introduction about yourself and your work in the ufology space and your YouTube channel.
Sure. My name is Mike Whelan, and I live in the United States in the Midwest, actually in a state called Oklahoma, if you're familiar or not. It's in the center of the country. And I got really involved in Billy Meier's material through the Wendell Stevens books. So the Message from the Pleiades and stuff like that. I came across those in the late 80s, early 90s, and it really intrigued me. And then I wrote my first letter to Billy in 1991, and then sort of went on from there. Um, I spent some time in groups, many years in groups here in the United States, different groups, mainly Los Angeles area, and some other groups. It's quite a long history. I'll spare you the boring details. Then I left FIGU for a while. I spent 11 years not involved with FIGU or the Billy Meier books, sort of like a break. And then I got back into it around 2017 or 2018. Decided to make a YouTube channel about the Billy Meier, the whole thing
Yeah,
about the Billy Meier thing. And
yeah, that's not
so,
so long ago, actually.
no,
Yeah,
no, that's not. It's just a relatively new channel, maybe 3 years or so.
yeah, great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I listened to some podcasts where you were present and you talked through the whole story, and I think we can do 3 hours talking about how you came into the case. It's a pretty full story, I would say.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and it's an individual personal story, so I think it's probably not that interesting to most people. So
yeah, I think that was a great introduction. So,
great.
I prepared some questions about the subject and a few things we discussed beforehand. Previously to the session, and I would like to start with what brought you into ufology and a more specific element, like what stimulated your mind moving you to invest energy into making ufology related content. Like if there's not only the Billy Meier case, maybe there are other cases. So what was like the I would say the breaking point for you to get active?
Well, in the mid 90s in the Los Angeles, in the California area, there was a lot of UFO events going on. And they had other events that were not UFO related, but they had UFO topics. One was called the Whole Life Expo. They had health products and things like that, and sort of maybe at that time you call it some more new age type of things. So I sort of followed that path and I ended up hearing a person speak. His name is Bill Cooper, and I don't know if you know him or not. He wrote a book
Yeah.
called Behold the Pale Horse,
Yes.
and we became good friends. And I did some security work for him, and I helped him do research on that book. If you look in the beginning, there's acknowledgments. My name's listed in there in the front of Behold the Pale Horse. So that's what sort of led me into ufology was Bill Cooper, because
Yeah,
of his
it's a,
stories of from the United States government saying, "Oh, we have crashed craft." He's seen Bill Cooper saw UFOs from a submarine, when he was in service and stuff like that, going out of the ocean, coming back in. And he watched it for like 30 minutes doing that on this submarine. So he has a lot of stories. So that's sort of what intrigued me into ufology. And, ever since I was a kid, I would look up to the sky and always wonder if we were the only, species here and things like that. And it always seemed to me that it couldn't be possible. So that's sort of how that happened.
yeah, I mean, that's a magnificent book. Like, if you put any work into this book, I mean, it's like I would say like a legendary book at this point. Maybe everybody knows the title of this book. It's yeah, that's
Yeah.
wow, great.
Well,
And
this is the first interview or podcast I've ever mentioned that. So you have sort
wow,
of a scoop. I haven't told people that I was involved in the research and the writing, but my name's in the beginning of the book. And Bill did misspell my name by one letter to protect me. So my last name,
oh,
yeah, he put
wow.
Whelen. So
Wow. I mean, already 5 minutes in and already got the exclusives.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, with you being from the USA and you're like, I would say, rather deep into the matter, and you're watching this ufology thing for decades at this point. And what are your thoughts about the high amount of cases in the USA, like geographically speaking? I mean, if you look at all these statistics and graphics, you see that the USA is like that's like the first place, and there's like a big gap to the second place, like of how many cases or how many reports there are. Do you got any answer for this?
sure. Um, Americans are very egotistical and they crave fame and fortune and money and all these types of things. And much of that drives UFO hoax, all these kinds of I was abducted and because I spent so many years in the 90s looking at researching every case that I could come into contact with and on the different people that would come as speakers and things like that. And after I spent 5 or 10 minutes with them, I could just tell that, it's a load of, what, it's not the truth. So most of the cases that I researched here, most of the UFO cases, it was just people seeking fame and fortune and wanted attention or money, whatever they were selling, pyramids for the heads or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
All
like
different things.
it's a business at this point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's so you say it's like a lot of noise. There's nothing special in the USA. Like like aliens or extraterrestrials would be interested in, like, for example, the Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know if you heard about this. Like, this
Sure.
is insane. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how people are actually thinking we are like getting light into these secrets, like via a TV show, like a scripted TV show. It's like some people really believe this is like a truth operation to get the truth of humanity, and it's pretty wild. I mean, it's like the tip of the iceberg, reflecting the business aspect of ufology. I would say it's just my opinion. I mean, maybe they got the
Yes.
UFOs deep below the mesa or whatever, but yeah, that's pretty wild. Okay, I mean, yeah, great. That's a great answer. Yeah, perfect. Um, then I would say we talk about the Billy Meier case now. Move a
Okay.
little more onto the case. And yeah, one question I already asked is what compelled you the most to research deeper into the case? I think you answered this a little bit more general and how you came in contact with ufology. But the first time you encountered the case, were you like compelled at the first second, or was it like after a few months or years you figured out like this case is there's more behind it?
It started with the photographs, and probably most people did. When I first got to know Billy Meier, because I was spending all this time in the UFO community in the '90s at the UFO expos and talking to all these people, and doing the best research I can. The photographs, when I saw those, and remember, these were pre-computer, right? These were in 75, 76, 77, before
Yes.
we had Photoshop and all these computers. So when I saw the photos, I thought, these can't be real. How could that be? How could they be so clear, daytime photographs, and so many
Yeah.
different ones? So that's what first sparked my interest to saying, hmm. Well, then I got a hold. The only books I could find at the time were Wendell Stevens, The Message from the Pleiades, and these are the contact notes, that we know
Yeah.
today. So I read those 4 books, and the difference between Billy Meier and the other UFO cases are his writings. I
Yeah.
mean, you could say the photos are great too, and they are. They're the best in the world, but you can put all of that aside and just read one of his books, and you can tell that it's something special.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The difference between Billy Meier and all the other ufology is what he's written.
Yeah, that's great. I think sometimes maybe it's even the opposite effect if you got all these videos and pictures and people are more like repelled from the case because they can't believe it. So it's like they're like putting it in a box and then it's in the hoax box, the known hoax box.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, this is like this is actually a question I want to ask you later, but about the evidence. I mean, there's not only evidence in form of videos and pictures. There's like hard evidence, the metal samples with Marcel Vogel and the whole ordeal. And yeah, the writings. I mean, some writings would be considered evidence as well, I guess, in some cases. And yeah, I mean, the question is if they can come here with UFOs and there was like a pre-plan to film all this and make I don't know how I call this, but like get a picture for the public from the case, like to get some for the people, I would say. And why are they not doing more stuff or doing like something undeniable so people would be compelled right away? So we both know that's not going to be the case because people are going to find solutions for their head to not believe in things if they don't want to. But do you got any answer for this? Why they are not doing more, like creating more evidence? Like, the train of thought I got in this. Yeah.
Sure. There's a big reason for that. And there's some smaller reasons. So we'll go through them real quick. The first reason is every human being on this planet and everywhere in the universe has the right to free will, has the right to free decision without any influence, without any coercion, unlike some of our religion groups like to coerce people
Mhm.
and recruit people and all those types of things. One of the creational laws, we can go into that later, one of these universal laws is that people must be allowed to have the free will of choice, the free will of decision without influence, without any kind of forcing to think this way or think that way.
Yeah, just want to
Tells
interrupt
them,
you real quick. It's
sure.
like too much, so it would be too much basically. So if they put more out, it's like interfere with with the human free
Yes.
will. So it's enough basically. So it's like the
Yeah.
essence
So
of this.
yeah, let me finish the thought on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
real quick.
sure. Sorry.
So when they decided to get with Billy and make their beam ships public, basically taking photos and videos and things like that of their beam ships, they did it in a way that couldn't be proven 100%. In fact, many of the video footages, they made their beam ships wobble. They made them wobble. They made them go like they're on a string.
Yeah,
They purposely did those moves. When they went around the tree, they did this sort of this pendulum type of thing. They
yeah,
purposely they'd make it wobble again and everything, like it looked like it was on a string. They
yeah,
purposely programmed their spaceships to do those maneuvers because normally none of that is the case. They're rock solid, they form their own gravity, and they can go from spot to spot and hang perfectly still.
yeah.
And you won't even see them move.
They do not make
So
sounds.
they don't make it. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
shielded from sound. Yeah.
yeah,
So what they did was went just to a point where you could see it flying around, but they purposely added these things in that would make people doubt it.
Yeah.
What that does is it puts them squarely in the middle so people can either
Yeah.
think about it and find it as true or think about it and find that it's not true, right?
Yeah.
One way or another. And this preserves the free will. This is the major reason why this was done in that way. So
Yeah.
the photos and the videos were purposely orchestrated in a way that they could not be 100% proven. It was by design done that way. That's the first thing people have
Yeah.
to remember. Second point is Billy's taken, I don't know the number exactly. It's 1,100 or 1,200 photos.
A
It's
lot.
like
Yeah.
it's like yeah, 1,000 photos. Okay, is one more or two more going to do it? No. I mean,
No.
the other reason is he's taken so many. He's taken 1,100 photographs of UFOs, and another 1,000 isn't going to change anybody's mind. That
Yeah.
that's the other reason.
Yeah. I mean, clearly. I mean, clearly, if you tell this a skeptic, it's like hard to embrace for the skeptic mind. I would say it's like, oh, he done this on purpose. Of course, of course. But I kind of get it because, like you said, it's in the middle, and yeah. I mean, if you only be compelled onto the case whilst looking at these videos, it's the wrong way, I guess. It's like not the access point they want you to have to get into the material, I guess. And yeah, at this point, I would say, could you provide a general overview of what Billy Meier is teaching?
Sure. Um, so, well, let's start with what we were just talking about, the UFOs. Um, the first goal or the first one of the major principles or the you call the pillars of his teaching is he wanted to teach the human beings of Earth that we're not alone, that there are millions and billions of other planets out there and tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of other civilizations. And the fact is, we are not alone. That he wanted to teach the Earth people that by showing the photographs and thousands of photographs of the UFO spaceships. So that was one of his main goals is to teach the people of Earth that we're not alone. There's life is all over throughout the universe, very very many different forms. So that's number one. The purpose of our life, he wanted to teach us what is to learn and to evolve. So the reason that we're here and the purpose of the human being's life on the Earth and in the universe is to learn and evolve and grow. That's point number two. Point number three, that we are in a cycle of life. Our life, that when we're born, as a baby, we grow up, as a teen, young adult, old age, such as myself, and finally passing away. And then this cycle begins again. And that we are in a cycle. The human beings are in a cycle of life, just like everything else in the universe. All the
Yeah.
planets, all the universe, all of the stars, galaxies, the here on the Earth, rocks, plants, everything in the whole universe is in a cycle of life. And
Nothing is static.
the human is no different than that. We're part of that cycle. So he wanted to teach us that. And another thing, I guess the fourth point is maybe the most important one, is he wanted to teach us how to think and not believe, because belief has just grown to such gross overbounds and so poor, so bad in the world. You can look at social media, you can look at the TV news, people believe, they see these things or they hear these things. It doesn't matter what it is, or the UFO stories, right? We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
People just believe. They either believe or they don't believe. There's no thinking going on. There's no rational thinking about, okay, all this evidence, does it make sense to me? Engage your mind, start your thinking, use your deference and, ways that you can solve and work through things. He wanted to teach the people, because we've lost that ability to think and to come to conclusions on our own, that we've fallen into this huge, very, very bad and negative practice called belief. And that's also those are the 4 points I think would encapsulate what Billy's here trying to teach. We're not alone. The purpose of our life is to learn and evolve. We're in a cycle. Reincarnation is true. and that we need to learn to think and not believe.
Yeah, it's basically all knowledge and data points covering the basic essential aspects of reality. Like, it's
Yes.
nothing special. It's nothing believe this or believe that. It's like more everything encounters or covers the basic aspects of reality. What happens after we die? All these general questions. And in a bit we will talk about life and death. I got a little messed up with my structure, but it's no problem. I would just backtrack a little bit
Okay.
and would ask you the following question. How would you describe the presence of the Billy Meier case in the current ufology bubble or in the current UFO land? Like the general, like how people who are not did research into the case, deeper research into the case, how they perceive the case and why. Why is the perception of a certain kind, I would say.
Well, I think the general perception in the ufology community is that the Billy Meier story is fake. I think that's the overwhelming, at least the people that I've come into contact with, that's what they think.
Yeah.
But if I ask them, have you read a book from Billy? The answer is always no. Have you
Yeah.
looked into the case anymore? Have you done any of your own research or thinking? The answer is always no. Most of the time, people have seen a video or heard from somebody or saw a YouTube post or a Facebook post, or this is going back to that belief thing, right? So
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, people are
Yeah.
going to believe this or believe that. And so to answer your question, I think most people believe that the Billy Meier story is fake, not true.
Yeah, and do you think this belief comes from like an internal source, from their own thoughts, or do you think there's some shenanigans going on, like making the case look bad? I would say it this way. Is there something going on like this, or do you think it's all
I'm,
just because it's like a very intense case and it's got all these intense things and people don't like they have trust issues, they don't want to trust into this stuff because it's so wild, and then they got like a security mechanism saying, okay, I don't believe this.
I see. That could be.
Yeah,
There are certainly people like that, that if they've been brought up religious and taught that, if they don't do A, B, and C, that they'll go to hell and
yeah,
burn eternally and things like that, that creates a fear. And this fear is sort of nurtured in religious,
yeah,
religious organizations. And if they were to come across information that would say that maybe the religion is not true, or maybe you should expand your thinking and just analyze the things that are written in the Bible, does it make sense or not?
yeah.
If they
That's more
were,
a general thing in ufology. Like people can't believe we are not the center of everything, basically, because it interferes with religious beliefs and writings. And the thing I was thinking to pick up is some people label it, like you said, Billy Meier is a known hoax. This like maybe they talk about the sports model and then they mention Billy Meier and then maybe they say it's a known hoax and that's all about the follow up. And that's like a I would say not an example, it's like a real situation. There was one guy, like I would say like a researcher or content creator who mentioned exactly that phrase. He was saying Billy Meier is a known hoax. And then after some months, he researched another case, which is, I would say, a little spectacular as well, with high stigma. And then he was like basically flipping out where he was seeing that on Wikipedia it's labeled as a known hoax. And he was like in the same situation. He was like, he done research into the case and he was like, how can people label this a known hoax? And then he was like, getting the same thing he was sending out before, basically. So yeah, I was doing a video about like perception in ufology, to call it that way. And I was saying exactly the same thing. I was talking about like a cognitive dissonance of belief. So many people believe in Jesus Christ. When they win a game or when they win a boxing fight, they praise Jesus Christ. But if Jesus Christ would be alive today, he would have a very hard time. Like, and people would maybe refuse it. So it's like this dissonance of belief. Like you said before, that's exactly what I was talking about in the video. It's like belief is a pretty bad thing. Either you know or you don't know. And I would take the phrase to crystallize the knowledge. If you think about stuff and you got the thoughts, do not crystallize it right away. Do not believe in stuff. And the other way around, like if you don't want to believe in stuff, maybe take your time, get a step back, and do some research and approach it without emotions, basically.
sure.
And yeah, so I would go to the next topic, which is yeah, the life and death subject, if you're okay with that.
Sure, absolutely.
And this is like the topic which is basically responsible for us doing this conversation here, because it was basically the case that you were working on a video or interview, or you've done some work using data from the case, talking about life and death and the teachings. And I was doing not the same thing, but I was working in the same area in the case at the same time. And so it was like kind of, yeah, it was a little cool to me, I would say. And then we came into contact, and then we made this happen basically. And yeah, this can't happen in other cases where people got so much areas into this, where so much knowledge and so much books and so much is written down, and the chance that we do the same stuff at the same time is pretty small. This is like all these Jungian synchronicities, basically.
Synchronicity. That's what I
Yeah,
was going to say. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like it was a pretty intense one, at least for me, because I know you're doing your stuff, and I was knowing what I had done the last 3 weeks, and I was basically doing like I was reading all this stuff and was trying to get more information out of it. And I'm going to come to some questions now. The last time I asked you one question, and that stuck with me for a long time. So I'm stoked to see what you got for answers for the other questions. But just
Okay.
for the sake of getting it on record, I would ask you the question again. And this was, how do actions in past lives influence our recent life? Like we talked about where we like doing some trades or working in an area, and then we come back to this world like with a new personality. We're not getting basically reincarnated, just our soul is here in another body. I think that's somewhat accurate. And yeah, is this when we pursue a certain area or do a certain profession or a certain, yeah, whatever it is, and we do it in the next life, is there anything happening, or is it, do we start at zero every time?
We do start at zero every time. So when the new spirit form is ready to come in, the same spirit form is ready to come into the new baby that's been procreated after on the 21st day, the spirit form enters the fetus. Um, the personality and everything about it is completely new. There's nothing left over from the past, and every personality in our lifetime is shaped and molded and formed by the individual themselves. So as we grow up from baby to toddler, childhood, adolescence, teenage years, and finally into adult, and all through life, we form our personalities. We do that ourselves from our thinking, from the feelings, from the emotions, from our interactions with other people, from our hardships in life, from our triumphs in life, from the people that we meet to the families that we grow. This is all formed a new personality each time. So that's the first part of it. During our lifetime, every thought that we think is stored in the storage banks. Billy calls it the storage banks. There is sort of a new age term that I'll use. It's not the right term, but I'll use it so people understand what we're talking about. And that's the Akashic records. So Billy just calls it the storage bank. So around the entire planet, there's this storage bank of energy that stores every thought, every feeling, every emotion that we have in our lifetime is stored there. So what happens is after we're dead, after we pass away and our spirit form goes to the other side, the death state, and spends some time there before it incarnates again and has a new personality. Um, all of those thinking, all of that thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are stored in the storage banks, they come back as impulses to the new person. So after you've incarnated, you have a new personality, brand new. After you become conscious and old enough to think and talk and move and things like that, you will get impulses. You'll get things that people will interpret as an idea or an inspiration or some they're very subtle impulses that come in. These come from these come from the storage banks from our past lives in order that we can continue that work. It's the sort of the chain that stays the same. It's the connection that we have to our past lives. So if we were a carpenter and we were learning that, then maybe we come back in this life. Maybe we're not going to be a carpenter, but maybe we're working computers. But when we go home to work on our house, we're really good at it, right? We have this innate
Yeah.
understanding, this innate skills. This comes from that. This is part and parcel of these impulses that come. How far we've learned to grow our personalities. How good are we with humanity? How do we treat other people? Are we pleasant? Are we nice to the people? Do we steal? All of these things will come back to us as impulses in our life. So we have a chance to work them over, to deal with them again, to make good, better decisions than we did last time, or different decisions than we did last time. That's how the evolution is consistent across lifetime to lifetime, because the storage banks stores sort of the recording of our thinking. And when we come back in as a new person, male, female, Chinese, American, German, wherever we land at, these thought impulses will come back to us to enable us to continue the evolution.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, that's a great answer. Even better than the last time.
Okay.
And yeah, that brings me to the next question. And there are many small questions, and I think I put it that way. I mean, I would label it reincarnation process, just for the sake of not having a better word. I mean, you told it before, you can come back as Chinese, German, whatever, African, whatever. You can come back. This all is nothing. This is all basically, I would say, free. It's nothing pre-selected or something.
Right.
And the thing what was melting my mind was, I think in the contact notes or in some book, it was written down that the spirit form, your own spirit form, and your spirit form of your like family, I would label it this way: it tries to stay in the family, something like this. Like if you get a child, you procreate a new human basically, and it's like, I don't know, like a higher chance the spirit form, like from your old grandfather is coming into this, so something along those lines. Did I got something mixed up with this, or is it like getting so complicated literally?
I've never read that.
Okay, yeah.
I can say I don't know if that's true or not, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know it. I've never asked.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem logical to me.
Yeah,
But
to me,
maybe there's some thing that Billy's written that I haven't read, which is possible because he's written a lot of stuff I haven't read. But if from all the material and all of my years, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
that's resonating. That's
resonating with me, because I was thinking that's the one step too much. That's like a little bit too much. I think it's like if everything is pre-planned like this like it's not a healthy model, I think. But what do I know? But yeah, I just want to clarify that. That's great. Yeah,
let me make one other point. That's not to say that one additional point. That's not to say that sometime in your life, through your travels or through your work, or travel around there, that you wouldn't come to be in contact with somebody that you knew from a previous life, and you felt a very closeness to that person.
I got this one time in my life. It happened like one time. It was like pretty rare, and I had no idea what it's about. But after I got some information, I think that was basically the case. But yeah, just a random thought here.
There you go. There's your own personal experience. That's great.
Yeah, it was like undescribable. I did not know the person, and he was having like a very good vibe. I mean, maybe it's my psyche, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, it was feeling like this, basically what you just told. And you were saying there was another guy was basically accusing Billy of the teachings just being like old Vedic principles and teachings. And before you answer this, I would say maybe it's just near to the truth. Maybe it's just kind of accurate that some things in the Vedic and the whole, I don't know how the Sanskrit stuff down there's some things just accurate, and so it's basically resonating on the level of truth because it's real.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, if the truth is the truth, whether it's told by one society or another society or 2,000 years ago or even now, the truth is the truth. It doesn't change. So
yeah, that's the thing which is pretty interesting on this case. There's so much wild information, but sometimes you see that the truth just resonates with each other, I would say. And another thing is pretty early in the contact notes, there was like, it's Billy Meier's spirit form, and there was something written down. I think I remember that there was like one or two other people with the same mission, like Billy Meier, but they unfortunately died, something along those lines. Are you familiar with this information?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that story. I don't remember the people.
Okay, yeah, but this is like I mean, this is pretty intense if you think about it. Like we got like maybe 3 people who got like a mission, and it's like a great operation, intergalactic operation. If you think, if you can label it that way, basically. If everything is real in this case, it's like an operation with some planning and like many, I don't know, 100 years of planning. I don't know in which spheres we are talking here, but it's a great operation. And then you got 3 people, and 2 of them, of course, based on cause and effect and free will, this happened, I guess. So on the other side, they say Pity got like over 20 attempts on his life, and
over 25, over 28.
Yeah. I mean, I think they don't stop. Why they should stop at some point? And yeah, I mean, that's what would we do here if he would be not alive at this point? Like, the whole mission would be scrapped. Or, I mean, it's hard to get any answer for this. But do you got some thoughts on that? Like, what would the Plejarians do if Billy did not made it? I mean, they are not able to protect him that way. That cause and effect is basically challenged, or the free will is challenged on the one side. So because I would extrapolate that they protected the other 2 people as well, and they did not do this. It's like they can't do it, or they don't want to do it, or it's like a cheat code. I don't know how to label it, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, if people wanted to stop Billy from bringing the truth, whoever it is, religious or the governments or whatever, it's too late. It's all done.
Yeah.
I mean, he's written 70 books for us, and he's written, I don't know,
Sure.
a top 1.5 times that for the Plejaren. So it's done. It's already, it's too late. Everything's printed, and there's a good amount of it translated in English. You're lucky you could read the original German.
Yeah, this is crazy you say this, because my whole life I was thinking, oh, why I'm not born in England or in America? I would start with the English mother language and can communicate with the whole world without any errors. And now I think, oh, there's something good to notice, not to notice. I mean, from your perspective, you are like working on this thing for many years, and I think I'm not in the perspective, but I think learning German can be very tough. It's like a very tough language, but yeah, it's not. I cannot judge this, but yeah, it's some good thing. So I was saying, if anybody needs some translation work or something, I'm open to do this. But I think I'm a little bit too late, I guess. Yeah, but okay. So there's like the third question on life and death. It's just you lived some years on this earth. Like, I don't want to ask you how old you are, but you're like a few
I'm
years.
60. I'm 60.
60. Okay, so almost like I'm 32. So you lived like almost 30 years longer as me on this planet. And being like in a similar position and working with this, like, I don't know, like, mind-blowing, groundbreaking material, I cannot come around to not label it this way, because it's still I'm like I don't know, young in this game. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, what some things you would have better known, or you would have wished to know earlier, now. So some things about life and death in general, so more general things, like now you're 60 and you learned some things, and is there one thing maybe or potentially which you would say, oh, why I not knew this in my 30s or in my 20s or whatever? If it's even possible to translate this. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you asking me what I wish I knew earlier that I know now? Okay.
Something like, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess for me, it would be knowing myself. I wish that I could know myself like I know myself now when I was 20 or when I was 25 or 30. That would be it. But that process of learning takes years and years and years and years. So I know it's sort of a pie in the sky wish dream type of thing, but you asked me, so I gave you an answer.
I want your honest answer. I don't need any spectacular things. That's perfect, because I think if I would wake up tomorrow and I would be 18 again, I would cry literally, because I don't know, I don't want to learn things again. I think my 18-year-old self was so dumb now, but I think everybody thinks this basically, because you basically learn in your life. That's like the basic essence.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, okay, so there's one other question I got, I don't know, one intense question. I don't know how I put it. Is that, did you at one time potentially met Billy Meier in person?
Oh, sure. I've
Sure,
met him.
yeah.
Yeah, I've met him
Okay.
several times.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
Gone shopping with him, and sit and have a cup of
great,
coffee with him, and yeah, just the normal
great.
stuff. I've been going there a very long time,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't call. To be clear, I wouldn't call Billy a friend because I don't know him that well, and the definition of friend in Switzerland is very different than what
Hmm.
Americans say as friends. You can meet one person here in America. I'll just tell you because it's so loose. You meet one person, you have a coffee, and then maybe you
It's your
text, and
best
then you
friend.
say he's my friend. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that doesn't mean that in Switzerland. So, I would call Billy an acquaintance. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
would. That would be a more correct term.
I would say
I
you
don't know him really well. He's an acquaintance, and I have met him several times and spent time with him and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean it's great. I mean, I don't want to sensationalize this stuff, but I mean it's like I'm pretty late in the game, like I said before. Like it's like, I mean, we still need like 800 years in this case, but there are like Wendell Stevens. I think he was one of the earliest people working on this case.
Yes,
Yeah. And I don't know if that's true, but even after his death, there was some things coming out that even he got some more intense experiences with all these things. And in the
yes,
contact notes, and the contact notes are more like, I don't know, very reserved in the way they are written down. There's some things, okay, we put these points in, and it's like not for the public and stuff. But then if you read between the lines, you can get some more info, I think. Because sometimes they say, okay, here's a straight line. We can't go over the straight line and tell you something about this and that. But sometimes I think the line is pretty flexible. I think it's this. I mean, it's hard to say, but because they are not humans, but they are still human. Like they, even if they are 20,000 years ahead of us, they still need to play the similar
30
game.
million.
Yeah, 30 million. Yeah, I mean, I mean that's all these numbers. It's not to fathom really. And sometimes I think it's just sad that at this point, I mean, there's a whole lot of history and stuff connected. I mean, they're not coming here because they are like so friendly or something. There's some intertwined history with our worlds, I would say, to keep it like broadly and not go into deep into a tangent. But I mean, it's like a pretty sad statement if we are not getting our shit together by our own, basically. It's not,
Yeah,
it seems hard, like, and I don't know, it's great. I mean, for me personally, it's great that I found this case, and I'm trying to operate from a view that I'm not going, okay, I'm 100% talking only about this case. I'm just putting every my energy in it, like all my energy in it. I'm just keeping it flowing, and I see, even if I think that's not going to be the case, but even if somebody said, okay, that's all just a great illusion, it's still interesting. You know, it's still
sure.
even if it's not the case, this is like the greatest fantasy somebody could write on. And even, I mean, you met the guy personally, and I just got some impressions from stuff I read and so from video stuff. And I think he's not the kind of guy, like he's not the guru type of guy. He's not going out there, and
No,
he's like, I
no.
think he's like, he's happy when it's done, basically. I think so. Something like, what do I know? But yeah, something along those lines. So it's like, it's not matching that he's not the kind of guy running around and promoting his stuff. And so, and
And
people,
trying to sell stuff
yeah,
and yeah,
yeah,
be on
he's like,
TV and yeah,
I mean, he was like, I would say, like he got a normal life, like the first 30 years or even more. He was like, basically, I mean, he got this experience at an early age, and then he was like, yeah, live your life first, and then we continue. So basically, it was around along those lines. And yeah, I mean, great. I mean, my brain is still working on the pale horse thing that you dropped at the beginning because it's like that's pretty intense stuff. I mean, that's like a legendary book. And I mean, if you worked on that book, man, I think you're already, even without the Billy Meyer case,
yeah.
you've done great work, I would say. And yeah, to I would say to close this out, I got some things about more recent happenings. I would say I don't know if you're interested in this stuff, but on September 9th, I think 9th, there's like another UAP hearing, UFO hearing, and all these theatrics type of things. Do you expect anything valuable from these hearings, or do you think it's all just theatrics and it's basically
Just
just a show?
theatrics.
Yeah,
It's
it's
politics and power and that
yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
stuff.
some people think like some people talk about all this Project Bluebeam stuff and all this fake alien invasion type of scenario, and then people are saying Avi Loeb, this astro I don't know what it even is, astrology guy. I would say, it's an astrophysics guy, a
Yeah,
physics
at
level.
Harvard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was saying this Three Eye Atlas, this interstellar object. It's going to be something. I mean, this is just nuts. I mean, some people in the field just think they're going to use this scenario of the comet running on the side of Mars to start some shenanigans. And I think it's all the same game every year. It's like it's 2012, then it's 2026, 2029. It's just like you said. If you think like you said, more locally on the USA, it's more like a big business,
Yeah.
the whole of ufology. And I think it's yeah, I think somebody can say he's somewhat lucky if he encountered this case in this whole mess. Because are there any other cases you would say they are like on the same level or like closely on the same level where you say, okay, that's a genuine case. You can, I mean, you saw nothing there what seems foul.
No, I've not found any other case that's anywhere close to
Whoa.
Billy
Okay.
Myers.
Okay, man. Yeah. That's something.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your future outlook for your channel and yeah, what do you think what's gonna happen with the case and is Billy Meier gonna live for another 100 years and write his books down? What's gonna happen in the future?
No, Billy will not live another 100 years, probably. He's old.
Yeah,
And
just quick. Some people
sure.
say because of his time travel and if you added all these years, he's like pretty old. Like he's like very old. Like I think
Yes.
his legal age is like almost 90 or something,
Yeah.
almost 90. And if you
86 or 87 or something like that. Yeah.
and if you add some potential time traveling, maybe he's already at 120 or something. I don't know.
He's over 200.
Oh, okay, okay. Man, I mean, I don't
But
even want to
that's
get into this. That's
yeah, it's really not worth even talking about.
yeah,
People are going to say, "Oh, no,
yeah,
that's not possible." But much of the time that he was learning, see, when they when they have a herald or when they have somebody, I'm talking about the Pleiadians, when they have somebody who's going to deliver the truth and that they're training them for this work to deliver a teaching such as Billy's, it takes many, many, many decades to do that, and there's just not enough time in this short lifespan. So many times when Billy was younger with Swath and with Ascot, he'd be picked up, let's say at 1 in the afternoon, and he would go away for a week or two. But they would jump back into the past, and then he would study in the past because that time's already passed.
yeah,
So I mean, time for his body still passes a normal time, days, and
yeah,
he grows older and stuff like that. But after 2 or 3 weeks, they'll jump back in to like 15 minutes after he left.
yeah,
So and there's been even recent times where Billy has, left with Ptah or Quetzal. Just, I mean, last year, where there's a core group member at the center that cuts his hair and had just cut his hair fresh and everything like that. And then I think it was a day later, it was all grown out. And he was saying, yeah, it's so conspicuous that she had to cut his hair again.
yeah,
Obviously, he'd been gone for, an extended period of time. So that even happens today.
yeah. And to just pick on that, do you think in the future, do you think anywhere in the future this is going to be a normal thing that we got like interactions with another species or like with something like the Pleiadians or like the Plejaren? We got like a more, I would say, open civil connection, not like in 1 or 200 years. I was talking like more like a couple thousand years or something along those lines. Or is it just this operation and then get your stuff together on your own? So along those lines.
Yeah. So there's two answers to that. So there we will have at some point in the future, a more open contact with an extraterrestrial race. It won't be the Plieran. It could be someone, one of their allies, but someone who's much more closely matched with our evolution. That's closer, still higher evolved than us, but they're much closer in our evolutionary level than the Plierans are. So it'll probably be someone from their federation that would take up, an official contact. That's probably how that would happen. And to your last point is, when they're done, when Billy passes away, they're gone. They'll leave and they won't be back. They'll monitor the Earth. They'll have some remote ships, and they may send people here, but they'll be completely invisible, just for monitoring of what goes on here. But they won't be visiting here anymore once Billy passes.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense. It makes sense. And what are your goals with your channel, with the Billy Meier Books channel?
I think with the Billy Meier Books channel, I would like to, I guess one of the reasons I started is because I want to share with the world the teaching that the Plieran and Billy have provided. So I think that's the most important thing. I try to do it in small segments, 20-minute videos, different topics. People make suggestions, and I'll make a video on that. So I think the first thing I'd like to do is just to share what's going on, that there's a very advanced extraterrestrial race that's been coming here for a long time, has trained Billy, has prepared him for this, and Billy has written quite a few books on his teaching, which is collectively entitled Teaching of the Truth, Teaching of the Creation Energy, Teaching of Life. That's all of his things together. That's the title of that. I think I also want to be able to provide an avenue for the public, for interested people, to ask questions. So if people have questions about the case, or
what I'm doing right now,
curious, what we're doing right now, what we're doing right now, same type of thing. I want to provide an opportunity for interested people to ask questions. So they have some outlet. When they have questions, they can just type under the video or on the forum or whatever. And then I think the third aspect for me is to inspire others to share their understanding of the teaching or their interest in the teaching, like we're doing now, like you're doing. We're sitting here, you're making a video for your channel. I would love there to be 50 people making videos about Billy Meier's thing, all different aspects, because it's so deep and so rich with information. Ufology and life and death, and just all these kind of things. So I think I would like to inspire other people to do similar things. So those are the three things that I think are goals for me with the channel.
Great. And considering the little amount of time you're doing this, I think it's already looking pretty great. I mean, I was pretty fascinated when I saw you got multiple 100,000 clicks on a video, basically representing something with so high stigmatization like the case. Yeah. And I mean, that's great. I think you already created a lot of value in that regard. And just my last question, which is just stuck on my mind. It's you said, you talked about the free will, and they can't do more because it would interfere with the free will. And then it's the basic question, where is the line, basically? Because what we are doing here, we are basically, or I would say we are inspired by the case to do things. So we are basically inspired or stimulated, I would say, by the material. And but isn't this something like a greater operation in the whole, I would say, universe, to do things like this, where a super advanced race engages with another race to basically help them, or whatever they got for other goals. And I mean, where's the line? Is this not already some interference with the free will?
I don't think so, but maybe I don't understand your question. I mean, if I make a video, let's make an example. Let's sort of walk through it.
More in general, going on this planet and interfering with this civilization. Is this not already something which is maybe vastly prohibited to not make people or humans or civilizations who are lesser evolved obey higher evolved creatures? I would say some rules set. in which it's like interfering with our freedom to even come here and do this. Like I would say, I would sometimes I put myself in the shoes of somebody who's new to this case and try to to rationalize it basically. So is there something said or some information I can look up where they're saying what's the essential mission, like the essential reason they are doing this for them, not for us?
They're doing it for them because.
They get yeah. I
But
remembered something.
let me
Yeah,
address this point. Let me address
yeah,
this point because I think it's a really important one, and probably a lot of other people. The Pleiadians are like a doctor. They come to see what's happening on the Earth, and they write a prescription through Billy saying, "Okay, you shouldn't destroy your planet. You shouldn't destroy the ozone. Whatever it is, right? You
yeah,
shouldn't." So they write the prescription and they give it to us, and we're the patient, and we have to take the medicine.
yeah,
That there is no line, fine line, thick line. They simply provide information, and it's up to us on whether we want to follow it, throw it out the window, implement some of it, none of it. That's all within our free will. They haven't influenced us. They've just said, hey, this isn't good here. This is what you should do. Point
yeah,
one, point two, point three. And they do that through Billy.
yeah.
And then we're free to follow that or not follow it.
Yeah,
That's all
I
it
was
is.
playing like a little bit devil's advocate here, just a little bit
You
to like,
can.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we're basically at the end of the thing, but I'm learning. I'm trying to evolve myself to do this thing, do these things better. But
Where
yeah,
was the fine line in your mind? Like when you said, "Where's the fine line?" Where did that come
yeah.
from? Can you explain that to me?
So yeah, it's like they're coming here and doing all these things. They're making like creating 1,000 UFO pictures through Billy. They're like he's like basically the speaking medium to us. It's like him. And it's like it's just one person and he's like literally procreated to do these things. If we go more deeper into the material, I think that's something along those lines. He's not just like a random guy and it's like not all random because they got so much knowledge and they see way more information than we do that we cannot even comprehend this how this is all working. But he's like procreated, we can say that. Like he's like it's like a planned thing. It's not like they come here and say, oh, let's take this 5-year-old and we're doing all this. It was not on site. And my this was like the question basically. Isn't this like a great impact? Like, isn't there not like some I was like some galactic I mean I'm grateful that they are here. Like it's just to play like a little bit devil's advocate, but what is like their
Go ahead.
motivation? So there's like so you said there's like basically like something like a collective profession and they are like the doctors, so they are like so high evolved they can do literally work and are not basically wasting their time with their own problems because they already solved a lot of them and now they got time and energy to focus on yeah the
Other
neighbors
planets.
other planets to
Yeah.
create a more balance because I think there must be if this is all real there must be something on the other side because everything is like polar. We got good and bad, we got hot and cold and something. So I mean the universe is endless, so I guess there's something, maybe there are planets where other advanced beings influence lesser beings. And yeah, sometimes I just would have a
Influence
great
is not the right word.
yeah,
Influence is
yeah,
not the
yeah,
right word. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just noticed that. Yeah, but inspire, can say it that way, I guess.
Sure. Or teach, right?
Yeah,
Share knowledge. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Great. Okay, so yeah, we worked the whole list, my whole list.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Well, Felipe, thank you for reaching out to me via email to set this up. I was really happy to get to know you and to do a video like this. Thank you for the opportunity to be on your channel. I really appreciate it.
yeah. Thank you for being here, man. It's like a great honor for me, and it's fitting perfectly into like the red thread I'm working in my channel. To if I'm presenting something like a podcast format, you would be the perfect guy. So I'm happy as well, and thank you for taking the time. And
Sure.
yeah, I need to work on some things, but I think overall we covered some ground.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.